Hello everyone, welcome back. Quick update on where this video series and channel goes forward in the coming weeks. We will, in the coming days, begin to dissect the returns of the election. We will, of course, cover major developments in the presidential transition and various appointments. Today, more world leaders and government officials from mainly one party, but there were a few prominent Republicans that acknowledged the outcome of the election, began to send their well wishes to the president-elect and vice president-elect. Most notable among these, of course, on the domestic side, was former President Bush. Although on the international side, I think the most revealing is Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, who really leaned heavily on a personal relationship with President Trump and leaned heavily on that to really do some influential things that were very popular in the Israeli community in America, Jewish Americans, and also in Israel itself. And in his statement, Netanyahu noted his long-standing relationship with the president-elect, and also the president-elect's long support of the state of Israel. So that was very one of the more interesting statements by world leaders. And in his statement, the prime minister acknowledged, the support he had seen from the Trump administration. And anyone who looks at it objectively, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but I will admit, on the issue of Israel, he was a big supporter of the goals of the Israeli government. Now, you can get into why he did that. There's a million reasons, but on the basis, it's not an unbiased thing to say that Donald Trump was a big supporter of Israel, as is Joe Biden. So, but that was an interesting statement. I think, though, in the coming days, it will be harder for Republicans to keep releasing these mealy-mouthed statements and statements that outright undermine the integrity of the election. You have some Republicans saying that they won't vote to certify the slate of electors sent to the House, and they may even challenge the results, which would be an absolute nightmare. I think, and I hope, that in the coming days, as these court cases come before judges and ultimately fail, that the president will concede the election and the government can officially begin, on the governmental side, the transition from one administration to another. It would be a real tragedy for the country and the world if this is dragged out much longer. That would be a very bad place for the country to be. One of the things that the 9/11 report found is because the transition between President Clinton and Bush was held up and so chaotic, was that the Bush team wasn't able to get fully briefed on the emerging threat from Al-Qaeda and, the seriousness of what was going on at the time. Some of the things that fell through the cracks, so to speak, occurred. And we're in a global pandemic at the moment. And, Joe Biden deserves to be fully briefed on what's going on at the governmental level So on day one, he can take action. And I fully believe he is prepared to do that, as most Americans, according to the exit polls, also believe. So, in the coming days, like I said, we'll dissect the returns, we'll talk about the results and developments. So, buckle up, hang on, and we will cover what should be a very interesting time in the country as we transition from the Trump administration to the Biden administration.